Hey BookTube, welcome back. I'm Winx, and the ink I'm talking about today is my weekend reads, as well as what I'm calling chilly weather channel changes. I like alliteration, it's cute, and I won't apologize for that. Basically, I just have a few things that I'm excited about and that I'm planning to do in the next few months on my channel, so it made sense. Anyway, I'm going to start off with what I have read and what I'm currently reading / plan to read throughout the next week. And the first of these are a few books that I have read and am reading for the S'more Sci-Fi Book Club. If you're not familiar with S'more Sci-Fi, this is my brand new podcast and book club. So excited. So I have put this together with my friend Adrienne Tilley. We co-host my other podcast, Marshmallow and Mimosa, together, and we have now sort of broken off a chunk of that, and we are doing a whole podcast just for book talk and specifically vintage science fiction books. It's been really fun so far, and I've learned a lot of cool history and stuff, and that's kind of part of what we're doing with the podcast. We're talking about the book and our feelings about it, and then also I'm looking up some information about the history of the author and the book itself, and Adrienne is looking up and sharing some information about films that have been inspired by it, and just kind of the whole package deal. So I'm really hoping that everyone enjoys it. September was our first month, and we put all of the September episodes out in one go. So those actually just went up this week, and I'm really excited to hear if you guys have listened to it. I'd love to get some feedback on it and just see if this is something that is enjoyable. I hope it is, because I have fun making it. But the main read for September was The War of the Worlds by H.G. Wells, and I was really into this one. I was surprised by how well it held up, because this book is written in the 1890s, and yeah, there's some stuff in it that's a little cheesy and ridiculous just because we have modern science now, so we know, but it held up really well, and the writing was very straightforward, but I don't know, it was just really well done. A lot of things just came together really perfectly, and I can see why this book has lasted through the last 100 years. So yeah, I loved it. Also, I'm really excited about this copy because it's illustrated by Edward Gorey, and his kind of creepy weird style is just perfect for this book. So yes. Then for September, we also did some bonus reads, and there was 3 short stories by Ray Bradbury. The Long Rain, which I really liked. I gave that one 5 stars. A Sound of Thunder, which I also really enjoyed. I think I give it 4 stars. And then I Sing the Body Electric, which I didn't like that one as much, and I think I gave it 2 or 3 stars. Interestingly enough, that one actually brought up, I think, the best conversation on that episode of the podcast. We did one episode just for all the Bradbury stories, but we had very different takes about robots in that story. I kept kind of envisioning and relating it to android rights, and like that episode of Star Trek Next Gen where Data is on trial, like defending his right to be an individual amongst the crew, and Adrienne saw it more as like Terminator robot takeover kind of thing. So yeah, it was a really fun conversation. I would love to hear where you lay on that spectrum, and hopefully that isn't too confusing if you haven't read it. But maybe it is intriguing enough to make you go read it. Yeah. Anyway, for October, our S'more Sci-Fi read is Frankenstein, which is appropriately creepy. This is also considered to be the first science fiction novel, and may I note, written by a lady. Yeah, how awesome is that? Thank you, Mary Shelley. Yeah, I'm about halfway through it just now, and it's nothing like I expected. The story of Frankenstein that we see in movies and stuff, it's only somewhat the story that is in this book. It's so different than what I expected. The characters are very different. The monster itself, totally different. Yeah, I could ramble so much more, but I'm not going to because I'm saving it all for the podcast, but I have so many things to say, and I can't wait to talk to you guys about it. Yes. And speaking of talking about these books, if you are not aware, there is also a Goodreads page for S'more Sci-Fi, which I will link down below, as well as all the links to go listen to the episodes. I just am really excited about this as a book club in general, as well as for the podcast. So there are threads on there. You can add your own threads, and if you want to just read along, discuss, we can have a good time having a chat on Goodreads. You can also post on social media, and we're using the hashtag S'more Sci-Fi, and then we can all kind of keep up with each other. So yeah, there you go. I'm also still working on Ancillary Justice by Anne Leckie, and I'm doing a buddy read on this one with my girlfriend Jess, and we do plan on doing another episode of Books with Bae by the end of it, and we're about halfway through right now, a little less than halfway, so we've just been kind of taking the chapters four at a time and discussing as we go, and it's been a lot of fun. I was really confused for a bit about some of the society and AI and timeline stuff, but the pieces are starting to fall into place now, and we're seeing a lot more of what the mission is of the main character and why, and I'm getting more and more pulled in, so I'm really excited to see where this goes. Then I also just checked out a book from Overdrive, which I'm really excited about. This was a total impromptu pickup because Chelsea, the reading outlaw, tweeted about it. So this is called Eliza and Her Monsters, and I forgot to write down who the author is, but I'm sure I'll have that in some info here or down below. And Chelsea specifically recommended this book to those who suffer from anxiety and or depression, and who love fandoms and feelings and the internet. Hello. I will be reading that, yes. That is the main pile of books that I have going right now. I am gearing up to send out the autumn book bath boxes, which is very, very exciting. Those are shipping out in 2 weeks, so it is going to be pretty busy around here, and I'm not expecting to have a ton of reading time, but hopefully I'll be able to work through little bits here and there. Also, fun fact is that this Monday is my 6-month anniversary with Jess, so I'm sure we're going to be doing all sorts of cute things and posting disgustingly lovey, cutesy photos and stuff on the internet, so you can get excited about that if you're into that kind of thing. If not, you might want to just avoid my accounts and channels and stuff. Speaking of things I'm excited about, we can shift into chilly weather channel changes. First off, NaNoWriMo is coming up very soon. If you're not familiar with NaNoWriMo, that is National Novel Writing Month. It takes place every November, and the goal is to write 50,000 words in 30 days. It's a lot. So you have to write about 1,667 words each day to make that goal. I know that between work, Book Bath Box, BookTube, podcast, I don't have time to do that many words. It's just not a reasonable thing for me to do and take care of my health at the same time. So I am just jumping in without the 50K goal. I haven't really mathed it out yet, but I think I'm going to do about 300 words per day, which I guess I could math in my head. That's about 9,000 words in a month. So yeah, that's not too bad. And I'm probably actually going to start a little bit early, so maybe I will just say 10,000 words is my goal. There you go. I might change that, but that sounds like a good goal. So I'm planning on starting basically once I ship out the autumn book bath boxes, because I will have zero time for new projects until I do that. But once the boxes go out, I can relax and I can focus a bit more on writing. So I'm really excited. I have this new story idea, which is super different than what I normally go for. Usually I try to do something in the fantasy, like epic fantasy realm where there's magic and this complex society and all this stuff. But unsurprisingly, I get lost in the details of that, and I have yet to actually turn any of those ideas into a full draft. This year my idea is a lot more simple, and it's more of a paranormal fantasy, dare I say possibly queer paranormal romance. Yes, I did say that. I don't know how it's gonna go, but I have some hopes. So in any case, I think it's gonna be the most fun thing to write ever. Super fluffy, just the kind of thing that I need for a NaNoWriMo story. So we will see how that goes. But the point is that for the month of November, and then possibly actually that end of October, I'm going to try and do weekly or bi-weekly vlogs with little update snippets on how my word count is going in the writing process, just because I think That would be really fun. I saw someone else do that. It was Reading Rainbow Hair, and she did that one year for, I think, Camp NaNoWriMo, but she might have done it for other NaNoWriMo things. Anyway, I really like that. I've always loved that video, and I've always wanted to do something similar to it. So I'm going to do that. And so there might be mostly that in my feed for the month. I might have a few other bookish things fit in there, but we'll see. If that is interesting to you, hopefully you will enjoy those videos. Otherwise, apologies, and check back after November. The other update I wanted to give is for January. Last January, I decided to do a Sherlock Holmes Reading Month. It was essentially a readathon, but very low pressure, chill, no like requirements for what you need to read or prompts or whatever. Just reading things related to Sherlock Holmes. I had a lot of fun with it, but I didn't read nearly as much as I planned to. So I was thinking about doing this again, and then someone actually asked me if I was going to do it again, and that was enough to motivate me to say, yes, I'm going to do this again. So in January of 2018, I'm going to do another Sherlock Holmes Reading Month. I would love to hear if any of you would like to join in on that. If you have any suggestions for things that you liked from last year or that you would like to see added in this year. I don't know. I'm just kind of winging this. I think it's going to be very fun, and I'm looking forward to another chance to get through some of the Sherlock Holmes pastiche books that I have on my shelf. And I think that's all I have to report here, so I'm going to stop rambling at you all, but let me know down in the comments what you all have been up to, what you've been reading. Have you listened to the S'more Sci-Fi podcast and what you think about that? If you're excited about the Sherlock Reading Month in 2018, or if you're doing NaNoWriMo. There's a lot to discuss, so let's get typing. Thank you all so much for watching. Please like this video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe if you'd like to see more. I hope you're all having a fabulous start to the weekend, and I will talk to you soon. Bye!